Christmas cactus is now in its full splendor. So beautiful. I love the green and the pink. And you can see the little stamens. It's had a really good showing this year, and because I pruned it back a lot last year. No, the year before last. Yeah. This second Christmas cactus didn't do too bad. I didn't expect anything from it this year. I did really. I have a third Christmas cactus over here, and this one's only got a handful of flowers, really. Though it does have some little flower buds coming out. And it's just so lovely to have these bright spots of color in winter. What's wrong, Bobo? What's that? Yeah, it keeps falling down. I think there's something wrong with it structurally. This is crazy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah!
What?
I just bloomed early.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that bloomed in winter, which is like...
That is very strange. Would you look at that?
Yeah.
A camellia has bloomed in December.
I just saw a red spot, so I just decided to check it out. Then I was like, what?
Yeah.
Mama!
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that. So every single one of these buds that you see is going to become like this. And since we pruned it back last year, this is just going to be a complete blanket of pink beautifulness.
Yeah, and also some around them are are starting to bloom. Look.
Yeah, so we've got a bud over there that's also beginning to bloom.
Two.
Yeah, see if we can find others.
Yeah, for some reason that's really weird.
Yeah. The bulbs are also coming out earlier. Have you found anything else?
No, just a bunch of...
Well, you guys have got good eyes because I didn't even spot that.
Well, I was the first one to spot it. And then I ran over to Arthur.
Wow. Yeah, so the girls just discovered a camellia that has bloomed in December, which is very unusual. We don't expect that to bloom until normally early March at the earliest, but there was a flower closest to the ground that actually bloomed, and it looks like there's a couple more that are going to be blooming. Yeah? I think they may have found another one. But yeah, strange things are happening.
This is really strange.
Yeah, it is. But it's a pretty spot of color to look at. Checking in on the onions, doing well, looking good. So today in the garden, just gonna work on clearing this out. This is the asparagus bed, right? And we just need to remove everything and clear it out. Still got a marigold on here, crackerjack. So I went into the greenhouse to get some gloves to wear, and there was a wasp inside the glove, and as I put my hand in the glove, it stung me on my hand. And whoo, I hate wasps. I absolutely hate wasps, because in summer I also got stung by a wasp in my armpit when I was picking raspberries. For no apparent reason, they just seem to like stinging humans. So yeah, I will put some ice on it later on. But for now, I have to get on with clearing this area. And I'm sowing what is called green manure, right? And this is really good for just putting some nutrients back into the ground. So it's all very organic. The nice thing about growing your own vegetables is you do have the option of not using pesticides and using natural ways of controlling pests. Plus also just accepting that half of the crops that you're growing are going to be eaten by pests anyway. But my mother always taught me that you sow 4 seeds, one for the birds, one for the ground, one that will rot and become a part of the ground, and then 2 are the ones that will end up growing and you having them. So that's kind of the philosophy that I use with the gardening. I always, multiply everything by 2 or 3 to make sure that I've covered myself for what happens naturally when you grow things naturally. Of course, if it's all being grown in an agricultural way and there's a heavy use of pesticides and things like that and sterilizing the soil completely, then it's fine. But we have to contend with slugs and rats, because when you live near a city, rats are just, part and parcel of it. Hedgehogs and foxes and things like that. Yeah. And wasps. Hate wasps. My hand is really swelling now. Look at that.
That's a chunky hand.
It is a very chunky hand, isn't it?
Your hand is
Ow.
getting more fatter and faster.
And I can't do a fist now. I'm just gonna finish off. Yeah. Oh man, that's weird. we sowed out the green manure, and that's going to grow, and we'll just dig it back into the ground, and it's like a natural fertilizer. Separately, my hand is so swollen and it feels so painful right now. And it feels really warm and really hot, which never happens. Like my hand actually feels hot right now, even though it's in winter. And it's especially hot around this area where the wasp venom is. You are high up in a tree.
I can go a lot more higher.
Yeah, I know. You're really good at climbing trees. Right, we're done now. I feel like we did a lot of good work in the garden. It's about 12:30. We have to get lunch going, but it's already dark. So we actually did make hay whilst the sun shined, because a big grey cloud has loomed over and it looks like it's about to rain. So yeah, sun is gone now. So I'm really glad that we did that when we did it. Just going to get the kids to do lunch now. So because it's now the holidays, they have enhanced duties, enhanced chores. So during lunches, they take turns to prepare lunch, and it's very simple things like hot dogs, or just putting fish fingers and chips into the oven and taking them out for the older ones, or making sandwiches. But they get to take turns with doing that and with clearing up. And for breakfast, they have to make their own breakfast as well. So just going to get the kids to get started on lunch. Wasps. They declared war on me this summer when they stung me in my armpit. I got stung in the armpit whilst I was just picking raspberries during sunset, and it was just really beautiful weather. There weren't supposed to be any wasps around because it wasn't, during the hottest part of the day. And it just stung me in my armpit. I didn't attack it or anything like that. And I spent the rest of the week, with a swollen armpit. And now it was hiding in my glove. I guess moral of the story is when you're putting on your gardening gloves that you've left in the greenhouse, just shake them out and make sure that there isn't anything in there, first of all. But still, it's winter. And I don't like wasps. Bees are actually useful. They pollinate and they do stuff for you in the garden, right? And they make honey, and they do the nectar stuff and what have you. But wasps don't do anything. Their only job is to impregnate the queen if they're chosen. They don't do anything else. But yeah, little rant over about wasps. I'll be having many wasp traps this summer just to get rid of them, because now my hand isn't as functioning like it should be. And I'm very precious. Oh, look at that. Actually, it's the strangest thing. Normally, I have cold hands because I have Raynaud's syndrome, where poor circulation in my extremities. But this hand that's been stung by the wasp, first of all, it's quite redder around here, but I touched my face and my hand is warm. And that's a very strange feeling, touching my exposed skin with my hand. I normally expect the cold, to hit me, but I actually have a warm hand now, which is lovely. Even my kids were saying, wow, but this one is warm, but this one is cold. This one is more like what I'm used to. But yeah. So I guess there is a silver lining to being stung by a wasp. I get to experience what it's like to have warm hands. Okay, I thought I could do this without taking anything for it, but it's a lot of throbbing pain now around the hand. You can see how pink it is. So I'm gonna have to take some ibuprofen because I read that ibuprofen should help with the pain, and also top up my lipstick. I'm just gonna have to take it easy for the next couple of hours or so because got my ibuprofen, got my lipstick on. Just ow, yeah, it's like a really sharp throbbing pain. But yeah, I'm hoping to get into the sewing cave and touch wood and all sorts of lucky things. We're just waiting for the burgers to get ready. Now table's been set, all of the condiments have been made, the caramelized onions are ready, the cheese sauce, the bacon, and some little nibbles that we're getting on the side that were on special offer in Aldi. We don't normally get stuff like that, but there we go. So I wanted to show you my other catalog. So being out in the garden this morning, there's something about the combination of doing your gardening work and blue skies and all that gets you thinking about all of the stuff that you want to get for the garden. So, I like my Birder magazines and my sewing magazines, but there is another catalog magazine that is close to my heart that when it pops through the letterbox, I get giddy with excitement. And that's my Marshall's vegetable, especially the autumn one, which has got things for what you can prepare for the coming growing season. You can see the same little post-its I use for my birders and my sewing magazines. I use them on here as well. So I just, I was like going through, adding some things, adding some more things, so we've got some garlic, over here so that it can get to us in time to plant in February. And just looking at some more bird feeders. So we're going to be getting this bird feeder, which is like a acrylic glass one that will stick onto the window, and hopefully birds will come right up to the window. So quite like that. We're also going to be getting a hedgehog house from here. The kids also love going through this with me, but this is where I also got some of my bulbs for the big great spring flower fest that I have planned for next year. And yeah, so this is the other thing that is close to my heart that I just enjoy browsing through and making plans and browsing through again, changing the plans and browsing through and making more plans. Yeah, I love it. I look forward to these every time they come through my letterbox. Doing a good SpongeBob impression there. This garlic Provence white is traditionally been my favorite garlic. It always does really well on our clay-based soil, but I'm quite tempted to try out the new varieties. There's garlic Kingsland white, and then there's Maddock white. I'm very, very tempted to try out a new one as well, because it's always a good idea to try those out. I have tried, which other one did I try that didn't? I've tried this one, the Carcassonne white. This didn't do really well. I tried it 2 years in a row. But this is a really good cropper. Is that? Oh, another really good one is the Lautrec White. This is another good cropper, but it produces very smaller bulbs. But yeah, and Solent White as well. I had a good year with Solent White. Oh, choices. For the onions, I'm going to get some more rose gold. So these ones are going to be spring planted onions. So they'll arrive to me sort of around February or March. I've chosen this because they're heat prepared, and I've had good experience with heat prepared onions before. I've never tried the rose gold variety, but I'll also be getting Red Baron. I grow this every year, and this is the most delicious, sweetest red onion. Great for salads, and you can grill it, or you can make caramelized red onion, and it is amazing. So I always get this one every year. Stuttgarter Stanfield is also a good onion set to go for. Very easy to grow, and you get like these really nice gigantic round bulbs. And whenever we have a glut of onions, we always chop them up and freeze them in cooking portions. This year I also want to have another go at growing artichokes. I managed to grow some artichokes from seed that I planted at the allotment, but we couldn't transplant them because they'd gone too big. But I want some for our own home garden. And I'm going to be trying for the 6th year in a row to grow aubergine. I have never grown it successfully, but every single year I always think that this might be the year that I will get my aubergines. They also do flowers, and I've ordered some bare root roses of this one called Zephyrin Drachin. I think it's Zephyrin Drachin. And I've got this for the wall on the north side of our house because I want it to be a climbing rose that climbs against the wall, you know, creating that quintessential look where you've got roses growing over the entryway. And I just think it's going to be awesome. But this is supposed to do well even in poor light situations, and that would be on the north side of the house. And then on the west side of the house, I also want a different color rose bush, a climbing rose growing up against the wall. And I chose Rose Madame Alfred Carrier, and it's a double bloom rose, and I just think it's going to be fabulous. So they'll be delivered just as bare roots. But as I mentioned before, with gardening, there's no instant gratification with gardening. So the visions that I'm trying to create with these things are probably going to take about maybe 4 or 5 years before I finally get the wall that's covered with the roses. But I think that's going to be pretty awesome. So another thing that goes really well with the burgers is this spicy plum chutney. I make this every year using our bumper crop from the plums because we have a Victoria plum tree, and it always produces huge amounts of plums, mostly around the same time, so they go bad really quickly. So we kind of have to come up with ways of preserving it. So we make plum jam and plum chutney, but this stuff is banging. And I always have to make enough to give away to people because they always ask for this. And sometimes they're like, can I have 2 jars? Can I have 2 jars? And I'm like, whoa, there's a backlist. But yeah, it's good stuff. Get all of that chutney goodness. Telling you guys, chutneys and preserving, it is the bee's knees. And it's wonderful to be able to preserve things that we've made in the garden as well, that we've grown in the garden. It's a nice feeling. It's like I've got a piece of summer here in this jar.